and they've got 46 9 kilowatt hour or SIG BAT10 batteries. It's absolutely huge.
We were exporting, call it 50% of that. Now, with the SIG system, we're using 100% of our solar.
And this is where Sigenergy completely changes the game. I've come to one of the biggest projects I've ever delivered. 46 SIG BAT10s or 9 kilowatt hour batteries, 3 C126 gateways, 10 three-phase inverters and 10 25 kilowatt DC chargers. Watch this video to find out how we delivered this for Langridge Organics. When Langridge first got solar, they were told the same story that we've heard many times before, and that was because they use huge amounts of energy, they would use all of the energy that their solar generates. But that's not actually how most businesses operate.
Langridge was generating more energy at one point in time than they could use, which created an unusable surplus.
So around 50% of what they were generating was just going straight back to the grid. And what this actually meant was they were essentially giving huge amounts of energy back to the grid that they couldn't use. And being commercial, they weren't getting much of an export rate. Solar up on the roof is only half the solution. And what actually completes the picture is having the right storage to be able to store the energy and then use it when you need it as a business. We've installed a Sigenergy battery system across their 3 different units to ensure that they retain that energy and they don't send it back to the grid. On many days now, they're importing virtually nothing from the grid and they're using all the energy that they actually generate. If you've got commercial solar and you're importing a lot of energy and exporting a lot of energy from your solar, it's not your solar that's the problem, it's that you've got a storage issue. And that's why many businesses now are investing in battery storage so that they can make the best use of the energy that they generate. This isn't about just reducing your electricity bills, this is about taking control of your energy as a company and being more in control, whether that's being able to go off grid in a power cut. It doesn't matter whether you've got like fridges running, whether you've got manufacturing facilities, whether you've got server rooms. Ultimately what it does is it gives you business resilience whilst also bringing down your bills. And that's exactly what Langridge Organics have done with this system. Langridge Organics is electrifying their fleet of vehicles. They're actually based near Heathrow, so they're in the London emission zones. And their problem is that they need rapid EV chargers. But with all of their fridges and freezers, their electric equipment, their lifts, and all of the equipment in their building, they didn't have spare capacity to be able to add rapid chargers without increasing their grid capacity. And this is where Sigenergy completely changes the game when it comes to EV charging for businesses. Instead of pulling 25 kilowatts from the grid per DC charger, what the SIG unit does is it charges the batteries overnight on cheap overnight energy. Then when the electric vehicles come back and they need to charge, they charge from energy stored in the batteries and some energy is pulled from the grid. But what it means is the business doesn't exceed their import capability that they've got from the grid. The clever part is the system does this all automatically. It monitors what energy the building's using, it monitors how much energy needs to be used to charge the vehicles, and it adjusts the levels that are imported for the car charging to ensure that the site never goes over its import capacities. No one needs to manage it. No one needs to deal with it on a day-to-day basis. The SIG AI just handles it all automatically, and it's just a very, very clever solution that means that they're able to rapidly charge, keep the DNO happy, charge vehicles at low rate as well, because they're charging vehicles from energy that they've either stored from their solar or off-peak from the batteries, and it's completely changed how they operate as a business. To give you an idea of the scale of the fridge units needed to power a business like this, this is one of many of their fridge systems that they have outside the building, which keeps all the fridges and freezers running at low temperatures inside the warehouse. It's absolutely huge. There's been so many things with this project that have not been straightforward. I'm not going to go into all the details now, but they've got like one internet network across the 3 sites, but there's 3 separate essentially installs. So that was a complication. Actually, this unit here, unit 14, the startup surge that they get from like their fridge units and things meant that we were having some problems with one of the gateways when we first installed it. But I think one of the things that like it's been clear to Langridge, but also for us at Skylar, is we've got very tight relationship with Sigenergy. We can get through to SIG technical. We can work through things when they're not working as expected, and actually get them the outcome that they actually want. Like this fridge, like the amount of energy it draws on startup is kind of crazy. So like with many 3-phase solutions on the market, it would just trip them if they go into like backup or cause lots of issues with the install. But whilst I am very proud of this project, like one thing that I can say is that at Skylar, we know what we're doing when it comes to these projects. A lot of people would be completely overwhelmed by a project of this size. Like, I don't know anyone else in the UK that's installed a SIG install of this size, and it's a project that I personally am so proud of being able to deliver. So this is one of the stacks. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 battery modules. You've got the DC charger module, which is 25 kilowatt DC charger. Then you've got the inverter. So across this site, across their 3 warehouses, they've got 3 C126 gateways, which are the large wall-mounted gateways. They've got 10 3-phase inverters. They've got 10 25 kilowatt DC chargers, and they've got 46 9 kilowatt hour or SIG-BAT 10 batteries. So yes, it's a substantial investment for the business, but it's meant that they're less reliant on the grid. They're able to use more of the energy that they generate. They're able to bring their bills down substantially. And there's been days where they're not importing a single unit of electricity. It's Solar Andy, cheers. So I'm here today at Langridge Organics and I'm with Sam Pearce. How are you, Sam?
Yeah, good, Andy, you all right?
Nice to see you. So, yeah, tell us about how you even came into looking into this to start with.
So about 7 years ago, we had solar installed on our roof here. We went for a solar edge system, and at the time we sort of were quoted an amount of solar that was going to cover our sort of day-to-day usage as a business. Sort of over the years, we've noticed we're exporting more and more back to the grid. So at that point, we were looking at battery systems and what they were doing, what we could get, but prices were mental for batteries at the time. We were looking at these big container systems that were taking up all our parking, and then one day I literally just discovered Sigenergy and sort of went, oh, that solution looks very good for what we need. So started making some inquiries and then ended up on your doorstep giving you a call, and then we're here today, aren't we, with a whole new battery system installed. And
when you had Solar Edge installed, at the time it was like the Rolls Royce really of like solar systems.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it's good spec, good system.
But if you know the challenges of having to try and integrate Solar Edge into like the SIG system, or any alternative battery solution, would you have chosen Solar Edge now you know what you know?
I guess you never know at the time. Like, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but probably now it wouldn't be the product for us, because we'd be looking at a battery system that's just like partners with a solar system, a bit easier, because obviously one of the challenges has been the connection with the Solar Edge and the SIG system. So yeah, finding a system that does both would have been the ideal, but at the time when we installed our solar, that wasn't even, people weren't even talking about batteries and the requirement for them, and it's 7 years later now, it's
like an industry standard.
Oh, 100%, yeah, the changes that have happened now.
And you're, so you were generating energy from your solar panels on your roof. Yeah. Like, what percentage of your energy were you sort of sending back to the grid?
Anywhere between sort of 40 to 50% of everything we generated was being exported.
Because actually one of the like myths in commercial solar is that, because you have such high energy use, and you guys certainly do, you'll use all the energy generated by the solar and you kind of don't even need batteries.
No.
What now you've actually had the Sigenergy system installed across your 3 warehouses at this site, what difference has that made?
So look, you go on the numbers, so we're using around 250,000 kilowatts of energy a year. Our solar system produces around 160,000. we were exporting, call it 50% of that. Now with the SIG system, we're using 100% of our solar, which means some weekends, some days we're running 100% on solar power. The excess is going into the batteries. That's then being used overnight, which then means we're using 100% of our solar. We're running our building some days 100% on solar. And well, another thing is it's increased our payback on our solar because we're now using 50% more of the solar that we paid for essentially.
So I suppose your payback, like what you get for selling energy back to the grid in export, is like negligible.
Yeah, we don't get anything because as a business it's hard to get export tariffs. So it's increased our payback on our solar. The batteries are brilliant.
So Sam, what was it about Sigenergy that you really liked?
I guess firstly it's sort of the compactness of the system versus like a container system which is taking up lots of space. It's sort of a lot smaller. You can fit it anywhere we need to fit it. Looks wise, it looks really good. The integrated DC charger was a huge part to us. We sort of thought, well, if we're getting a battery system, why not have integrated DC chargers? We didn't have the electric vehicles at the time we were speccing the system to plug in, but since that we've now got 4 electric vans, so we've made use of them straight away. Fire safety as well. I'm an on-call firefighter myself, so fire safety around lithium-ion batteries is a huge part of what we do. So SIG's internal fire systems, fire suppression, fire monitoring, battery cell temperatures, the lot. It's a very comprehensive system, and fire safety-wise, it's top of the market, I'd say.
So here we had 3 separate 100 amp incoming supplies, 3 separate C126 gateways, which are like the large gateways, and it means that the business units can run in a power cut. Have you even had a chance to make use of those yet?
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago today we had a power cut on a Saturday, full grid outage on our local grid here. Obviously battery systems kick straight in. We run large refrigeration units here. We've got a lot of chilled produce, we've got a freezer, so it's pretty important that we keep all of that chilled and frozen. Battery system kicked straight in. I was running our building. I was looking at the SIG app. It was saying we had enough battery power to run that for another 17 hours, which if the grid can't get the power back on in 17 hours, then I think we're all in trouble. So so we were well covered to sort of cover that power cut, which is exactly why we installed the system, to be fair. And that's,
I suppose it's so important when it's like fast moving goods that are perishable, especially high value as well, being organic produce.
We hold over £100,000, a couple £100,000 worth of stock at any one time, depending on the season, etc., and how much is in the freezer. It's so important that that's kept frozen and fresh, and that's what our customers are paying us for at the end of the day, is to be supplying the freshest produce possible, so we can't have our fridges going down. So this is just giving us another sort of level of security. When people talk about sort of future-proofing businesses and stuff like that, this is, I think, grade A in what businesses should be doing and can be doing to ensure they're sort of protected.
So let's just run through those numbers. Before the Sigenergy battery system, they were generating 160,000 units of energy a year, and they're sending 80,000 back to the grid. Because they were using 250,000 in total, it meant they needed to buy 170,000 units of energy off the grid at peak rate. After their Sigenergy system was installed, they were still using 250,000 units a year. However, the 160,000 units generated by their solar was 100% usable. They were sending nothing back to the grid. This left them with 90,000 units that they needed to buy in, but rather than buying those 90,000 at peak rates, they were charging the batteries at off-peak tariff rates, leading to even further savings. This project was very complex. 3 incoming supplies, gateways, commercial backup, huge battery storage, lots of car chargers. There's no one in the UK that understands this system like Skylar. If you're getting solar or adding commercial storage to an existing system and you want to speak to the experts, you need to speak to us at Skylar. I'm Solar Andy. This is Skylar Solar. Cheers.